All right, so now that we've covered all of the HTTP requests for the /articles route, I just wanted to quickly show you something that Express lets us do. So at the moment, if you look at our code, we've got a number of methods that are targeting the same route, namely /articles. We've got a get method, a post method, as well as a delete method. Now, if you have a look in the Express documentation, and if you go to the guide on routing, you can see that there's the route methods, which is what we've been using. But there's also something that makes our lives a little bit easier so that we don't have to type in the same route every single time. And that is the app.route method. And this allows you to create chainable route handlers by using app.route, and then you use the path as the same location so that you reduce redundancy and typos, which is our aim as always when we're refactoring our code and maintaining our code. So they give you a really good example on how you would use this. You start off by calling the app.route method and you specify the particular path that you want to target. And then you simply chain on methods like .get, .post, .put, etc. And they all target the same route. Now it's a bit confusing if I showed you this right in the beginning, but now that we've gotten used to app.get, app.post, etc., it's a good time to start using a more succinct way of doing this. So let's go ahead and go into Atom and change our current code to use these chainable route handlers. So we're going to start off by saying app.route, and then in here we specify the route that we want all of our subsequent methods to target. So we start off with /articles, make sure that I don't have any typos. And then afterwards is where we chain our methods. So it would look something like this: .get, .post, and we've also got a .delete. So, and then this is where the method ends, and that's the entire method without obviously any content in these. So now we're going to take our callback function, the entirety of it, and transplant it inside this new chained get method. So if you click on the left or on the right of the opening bracket of that callback function, it will highlight to you the closing bracket. And we're going to take everything, including that closing bracket and the callback function, but excluding that last closing parentheses and semicolon, because that belongs to the get method. This particular parentheses matches with this one, and that semicolon says that that is the end of that get method. Now we, in this case, don't actually want our get method to end because we want it to continue to be chained by the post and delete methods. So that for all requests targeting our articles route, we will check to see if it's a get, a post, or a delete request, and then call what's inside these parentheses correspondingly. So now that you've checked that you've selected the right parts, and this is really easy to make a typo here, so make sure you've gone right down to the bottom, last closing brace, and you've excluded any parentheses and semicolons at the end here, and we're going to cut that and paste it into our get method. And then we're going to do the same with our post method, so our app.post. So we're going to check where this opening brace closes, and then we're going to take all of that and put it into our chained posts method, and we're going to do the same with our delete as well. So all the way from here up to here. Now, once we've pasted that in there, all that you should see remaining down here are a closing parentheses and a semicolon, and now we have removed that callback method entirely. So now it's time to go and separate out our code, because at the moment it's a bit of a mumbo jumbo. So usually when you use chainable route handlers, it tends to be structured like this. So you would have app.route specifying the route on a single line, and then for every subsequent chained method, they go on separate lines so that you can see what's going on easily. So now we're going to put the get onto another line, we're going to put the post onto another line, and we're going to put the delete onto another line as well. So each of these lines start out with a dot to show that they are chained methods. And then at the very end, do we actually have a closing parentheses and the semicolon? For all of the other chain methods, say the post or the get, they don't have a semicolon because we don't yet want it to end. We want it to be .get, .post, and .delete. So now we can safely delete all of this, and we have successfully refactored our code so that we now have a single route that targets / articles, and we've got a get method, a post method, and a delete method all chained together. Now, chaining methods together like this isn't actually new to us, because when we were using jQuery, we were writing a lot of chained methods. We'll say something like document, get element by ID, and then once you've gotten that element, then append child node or do something else with it. And very often when we're writing jQuery, there's lots and lots of chain together methods that make your code look like a huge chain. And so if you wanted to learn a little bit more about this, then I'll link to this particular article on Medium, which is quite well written, and it talks you through some of this method chaining so you can get a bit more background on this. But back to our code, if you have any errors at all, make sure that you've got all the syntax written in exactly the same way as you see on screen right now. And it's very, very easy to mess up a semicolon or delete a closing bracket. There's just so many to manage here. So if you run your server right now, you shouldn't be getting any errors, and all of the previous requests that we did through Postman should still work. So go ahead and test that. And if you have any sort of error logs inside the terminal or inside Postman, then just be sure to come back here and just check that your code matches with my code.